Hello friends. So once again it turned out to be RCB versus CSK at the Chinnaswamy Stadium. And once again it was RCB that came out on top or emerged victorious at this iconic ground. That is not how it always used to be. Even if you go back in time when I was not in this field, it always felt as if the men in yellow had an edge in this particular rivalry. But that has not been the case for the last few years. You remember those famous overs from yesterday, and then this year as well, RCB's batting lineup fired on all cylinders as they emerged victorious quite comfortably. So how did RCB walk the talk? How have RCB come out on top over the last couple of games at their home ground? For that, you have to transport yourself back to Andy Flower's pre-match presser before the game against SRH. It told something that turned out to be the keynote of their performance so far. It basically said that they have a fair understanding of the conditions at the Chinnaswamy Stadium. At the time, it didn't feel as if it was believable because RCB don't have a good record here at this particular ground. Even last year, when they went on to hoist the trophy, they didn't have a good record here at this ground. They had a kind of mixed record. So what exactly has changed? The thing that has changed is RCB are looking for an above par score. So when you think about the conditions at the Chinnaswamy Stadium, 200 or 225, or maybe 220 or 225 could feel like a par score. But what RCB are doing is they are getting an above par score of around 250, 240. And that is what exactly is working for the men in red. Yesterday too, they got to a score of 250. Thanks to Team David, thanks to Devdutt Padikkal, and thanks to Rajat Patidar. Among those three players, we definitely have to think about Team David. See, Team David, I think, has really turned his fortunes around. There was a time when it felt as if, or even his strike rates, used to tell that he struggles in spin in the world of IPL. Even if you look at his strike rates for Mumbai Indians, it is something like 87 in one of the seasons. It is something like 120, 128, it was 128 during one of the seasons, then about 108. But this season, or last season, it improved up to 165. So all these stats from Crick Metric tell a story in itself that Team David has ramped up his game in spin bowling. So how has he done it? If you look at his game now, he tries to stay slightly left side of the ball in order to access areas through the offside. Basically, he's giving himself a better chance to smash it through the offside. Obviously, as the power game, you could see it yesterday as well. I think one of the deliveries from Noor Ahmad, he went from ball from round the wicket, and Team David smashed it, I think, over deep extra cover. Someone else, I think it would have been caught by the boundary rider, but that's not the case with Team David. It easily cleared the boundary rope. That tells something about the power game. Somewhere you have to sympathize with the bowler there because Noor Ahmad basically had beaten him with this variation in the air. Just that Team David has that kind of power where he could easily clear the boundary rope. So that was about Team David. I think a lot of credit has to go to him. He has had to fight through the system, or he has had to come through the system. He has had his setbacks. See, there was a time when he used to play for Singapore somewhere in 2019. At that time, I think Perth Scorchers had also delisted him, or basically Western Australia delisted him from their listed players. So then I think he had that one good season for Hobart Hurricanes, where he did really well for them. I think it was 2020-21 season, and from there on, he has grown in stature. So then let us look at someone like Rajat Patidar. He's one of those players who wasn't exactly in good form in domestic cricket, but he has definitely come good when RCB needed him. Yesterday too, he looked in very good touch. That is very good news for RCB because you would always want your captain to lead from the front. Yes, Devdutt Padikkal also has worked on his game. He is someone, I think, added that little bit of backward trigger, and then you add the point that is looking to come down the track, skip down the track to fast bowlers in order to play a lot more shots or have a lot more scoring options against fast bowling. So that is about RCB's trio. who helped RCB to reach an above par score. We also have to look at the bowling front. What RCB have done really well is they have been taking those wickets in the power play overs. Hazelwood did that last season, and Jacob Duffy has replaced him for a couple of games this season. Also has followed it up by taking wickets against SRH and also against CSK. Yes, he stuck to his plans of hitting a hard length or hitting the deck hard in the game against SRH. Against CSK, bowled a touch fuller, but still it was not that full. Basically, sticking to his template of looking to extract bounce and a bit of movement of the pitch in order to pick up key wickets up front. Bhuvaneshwar Kumar also has come good for them. The experienced Bhuvaneshwar Kumar also took his 200th IPL wicket yesterday, and that tells something about his class. And then we have to talk about Krunal Pandya as well. How can I miss him? I think he's one of those guys who throws the kitchen sink at the opponent, and exactly that is what he did yesterday too. He was bowling from a longish run up at times. He was bowling at 115 kilometers per hour. At times, he was bowling from around with round arm action. He was varying his pace. Basically, throws the kitchen sink at the batsman, at the opponent, and that is how he picks up those wickets in the middle overs. So RCB have found bowlers who can take wickets up front, who can take wickets in the middle overs. So basically, from there, or that kind of a situation, it becomes difficult for the opponent to hit back, because when you're losing wickets at regular intervals, it's very difficult to keep up with the required run rate. So that is about RCB, how they have executed their plans. Let us also talk about the crowds. Yes, yesterday too, there was a passionate crowd outside the stadium as well as inside the stadium. Every time Virat Kohli scored a few runs or hit a boundary, there were chants of RCB, as well as there were chants of Kohli. And even when Virat Kohli came out to warm up before the game, there were chants of RCB, Virat Kohli. Even when they picked up a wicket, there was huge noise or crescendo of noise around the stadium, echoing around the stadium. Even outside the stadium, you could see that little bit of banter between CSK and RCB fans. Yes, there has been a lot of crowd management control things that have been done this season by the police personnel of Bangalore, and because of that, you haven't seen the kind of slogans, you haven't kind of seen the kind of what can I say, chants outside the stadium like you usually do. But still, the men in red were there. A lot of RCB fans were there. A lot of CSK fans were there, and they basically, I think you could see a lot of banter as well. So that was a little bit about the crowds. Hopefully you like this video. If you like this video, keep subscribing to our Revsportz channel, because we don't just cover cricket, we cover other sports as well.